Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Butters Taste Challenge. We have two Caribbean rums bottled in the USA with no website listing, both at 40% alcohol. The first cream colored cap and label, and the beach scenery is Ron Pontalba rum. Liter bottle was $6.99. I bought it at Ricky's Liquor, Wine, and Beer. Ricky's, famous liquor store on Louisiana Highway 49 southbound in Kenner, Louisiana. This was introduced in 1989. It is produced in the Caribbean islands, bottled in Frankfort, Kentucky by Wide World Importers. In other words, Sazerac Company. And the distillery where they bottle it is Buffalo Trace. So if you go on a Buffalo Trace tour, you're not going to see them bottling Ron Pontalba, I can promise you. You're going to see them bottling bourbon, maybe Wheatley vodka. Here's Bacardi. I don't even think they take you to the bottling area, and probably for good reason. They don't want you to see all these crazy, inexpensive bottom shelf brands that they bottle under alias names. Una Impresa, Bacardi, limited edition, Major Lazer, gluten-free, well, naturally. Well, has no wheat. And it's got this pretty black, gold, and white label, like the New Orleans Saints. A recipe on the back from Mississippi Rum Punch. This was introduced in 2017 as a limited edition in collaboration with the music group Major Lazer. No longer in production. I bought this 750 milliliter bottle at Acuista Paces on US Highway 190 business route eastbound in Covington, Louisiana. It was $7.99. Great deal, $7.99. Normal price $15. David Cassidy says, Guten Morgen, Ron. Good morning to you. Okay, so here we go. I would assume the Bacardi's going to win. Panthers rule says, you. Sound like something Burley Sullivan would say. All right. And this is going to close out rum for the time being. In a few months, we'll get back to it. Maybe 5 months. We're going to tequila next. And I have Juarez coming up. Juarez tequila, introduced in 1987. Juarez Tequila Gold. Got it at Mathern's, 1 liter bottle for $7.99. But that's another story for another time. All right. And then we go on to mezcal, then rye whiskey, then bourbon, then American blended, then Canadian blended, then Irish, and so forth. All right. Ron Pontalba. Let's see if it's got that infamous Sazerac sediment in it. The lighting is bad. It's still dark. We're getting a little bit of daylight outside because of the sun coming up. No, I'm not really seeing that. Not seeing that on this one. Major Lazer. Major Lazer. B Aviation, buenos dias. Buenos dias to you, senor. ¿Cómo está usted? All right. All right, bonjour, mes amis. All right. Cuando que están los boletos? I don't know what to tell you on that one. All right. It smells a little bit like sugarcane grass, meaning the stalks, sugar. Hard to say at this point. Yeah, the same way, but darker, more maybe like burnt sugar. So I think, I don't know. But I think on the nose, that's the major Lazer. Because I can't see the Ron Pontalba smelling that way. But it's possible. Ron Pontalba was named in honor of the Baroness. What was her name? Michaela. Almonaster was really her. She was an Almonaster. She was a daughter of a Spanish grandee, a noble, minor noble, during the days of the Kingdom of Spain ruling Louisiana, the Bourbon Spanish. Baroness de Almonaster. Her father had a lot of money, so she got involved in real estate, built a lot of buildings around New Orleans, especially the apartments next to Jackson Square, the Plaza de Armas used to call it, Jackson Square by St. Louis Cathedral, in the middle of the French Quarter, in the middle of New Orleans. There's apartments on either side, north and south of the French Quarter. And she got those built in the 1850s. Now, she married a man from France named Baron de Pontalba. And but I think they were actually Spanish immigrants at one point to France. But anyway, they were French Pontalba. And from what I read, they didn't get along too well. They did have some children, but they didn't. The children moved to France after they grew up. They all went to France. So the Pontalba family all lives in France today. But she stayed in Louisiana, Almonez de Pontalba, and she built those apartments. And if you go to the French Quarter and look at the grill, the ironwork in front, in the balcony, they all got AP and real fancy lettering on each balcony. AP, Almonaster Pontalba. That was her family, Almonaster, and her married name Pontalba. So this rum has a historical meaning. So if you ever go to the French Quarter again, look on those balconies and you'll see AP all the way around. And it's been there for over 150 years. And those are a public housing project. It's owned by the state of Louisiana. True story. Probably the most expensive housing project in the public housing project in the United States. Thousands of dollars a month to rent. And then below, there's all kind of shops, toy store, candy shop, donut shop, everything. All kind of things. Hi, Ronald Ruski says Beer Hounds Beer Reviews. Hello there, Bill. Beer Hound says Jennings. Sorry, I haven't had my coffee yet, sir. Interessante, says B Aviation. Yeah, it's very interesting how these products have a historical background. And the Bacardi family goes back to Spanish Puerto Rico in Spanish Cuba, 1862. Remember, Spain used to own Cuba, Puerto Rico, and those were not, and Spain did not consider those colonies, really. They considered them part of Spain, just like Hawaii and Alaska are considered overseas states of the United States. Anyway, taste time. So in New Orleans, they got the Pontalba thing there, and the apartments, and then they got Almonaster Boulevard, long boulevard in the eastern part of the city, 4-lane highway really, but it's a boulevard where they have a lot of industrial facilities. And a big swamp full of cypress trees and water. This smells like sweet, mild, grassy, sugarcane, light molasses. It's got to be the Ron Pontalba. Is it aged at least a year? Haha, I doubt it. That's the Pontalba. I know it can't be Major Lazer. There it is. Look how it's just gold. Will you ever see this in your area? Well, you might. Somebody told me it's really popular out in Texas. A lot of people in Texas drink it. I don't know. I wouldn't know because I haven't done a survey of Ron Pontalba being sold in Texas, okay? But if he's saying it, he probably sees it in liquor stores everywhere. Yeah. Creme brulee, like burnt sugar, dark sugar. This is a blend of 3, and 4-year age rums. They filter it before and after aging, right? So they filter it, then age it for 3 years over here and 4 years over here. Then they blend them together and then they filter it again. Or they filter it and then blend it, I'm not sure. Does Sazerac actually make any products in New Orleans? Only right now. Hey, Bang, yo, what's good? The only thing Sazerac makes in New Orleans at this time, but they claim that's going to change, is Sazerac rye whiskey. You know, the Sazerac rye whiskey, they have a distillery and we visited it and they make it there. But they ship it back to Kentucky, Frankfort, Kentucky, to age it because they don't really have a barrel house in New Orleans. They have a couple of barrels they put in there just for show to age some of them, you know, just because it looks nice. But and they make a little bit of the Sazerac rye there. 99% of Sazerac rye is made in Frankfort, Kentucky, but they do have that distillery in New Orleans, and it's the whole thing. You know, they do all the steps. And the guy was showing us about how he said, this is the uncut. He had the uncut rye whiskey, you know, no aging on it. It's clear. He said, you can't drink this. It's 190 proof. He said, you'll die. You know, you cannot drink this 190 proof. He said, so we got to filter, you know, we got to cut it with water, bring it down to 80 proof and all of that. Or what do they bring it down to? 90? Isn't Sazerac right? 90 proof? Yeah, so 90 proof. But so do I like Coors Banquet? Yeah, sure do. So he said, yeah, you know, a lot of these old guys that's been working at the distilleries for years, they'll sit there and taste that stuff all during, you know, sneak a little taste of that 190 proof. He said, but he tells me this. But you know, some of those guys went blind. It'll make you go blind if you're drinking that diesel. They call it, Sazerac sells it. It's called diesel. It's corn whiskey that's uncut. You know, before they make the bourbon, they just have 190 proof, uncut, unaged, and they sell it. You can buy it at Matherne's. Diesel. It's called diesel. Luxco makes their own brand called Everclear. But the guy was like, you can't drink that stuff. Like you could literally go blind if you drink it. And he said, I don't touch it. No way. I know methanol makes you blind. Yeah. So but if you take that stuff and you age it in new charred oak barrels for at least 2 years, then you have straight bourbon. And you can cut it to whatever you want to cut it to, like barrel proof, you know, 100 proof. Most of Sazerac's bourbons be 80 proof. You know what? A lot of them are 86. So however you want to do it, and you can add rye, wheat. You can add barley to it. It's up to you, however you want to configure it. And Sazerac tinkers with it and just plays around with each of them, and they'll make like a wheated bourbon with a lot of extra wheat. and that's Willet, not Willet. I mean, thinking of Willet, weeded bourbon. The the one that nobody can ever find, that you got to get on a waiting list and make a big production out of it, even though they probably got a lot of it. They just make it scarce on purpose. Weller. Yeah, Weller. And there's all different types of Weller, you see, but that's a weeded. My chemistry professor once told me that if you drink methanol, to drink a lot alcohol to lessen the effects of the methanol and to save your body, basically. I don't know. That may be true. I'm not going to drink methanol, so thank you. And I'm not going to drink 190 proof. At Southeastern Louisiana baseball games, they have a liquor store. Right, it's a tent, but it's run by a daiquiri company, and they I know a lot of college sports don't sell alcohol, but in Louisiana they do. Like Tulane, they have a cocktail tent, but cocktail area where they sell cocktail. But at Southeastern they got the daiquiri thing, and they sell beer, of course, regular draft, draft beer, canned beer, well, some kind of wine. I see women drinking it, overpriced naturally. And then they sell daiquiris of all sorts, but I can't stand to drink that. But there's one they sell with the orange food coloring. It's orange, tastes like tangerine or something. And they make it with diesel, 190 proof. And there's this lady, she's obnoxious to start with. She's obnoxious. Her son is a manager on the team, not a player, but she's kind of, I don't mean she's a bad person. She's just obnoxious. She gets angry if anybody criticizes the team. Like if they're playing bad and people say, wow, they're really playing bad, she'll say, you're not sticking by the team. You got to be backing them up. We are backing them up. That's why we have season tickets, But if they're doing terrible, we're going to say, look, they're doing terrible, so, but she'll get that huge daiquiri, 190 proof. It's blended. It's obviously the daiquiri is not 190 proof, but it's made with that diesel. And it's funny because as the game goes on, she gets progressively louder and more obnoxious. And I'm thinking, well, the diesel's kicking in. I just found out 151 proof is the highest you can buy here in Michigan. Oh, and talking about that, Bacardi got rid of their 151. They don't make Bacardi 151 anymore. On the website, they said they want to concentrate on other things. I don't know. It probably wasn't selling that well. That's probably the real reason. But maybe they just, I don't know why you would stop making something if it was a big seller. Season ticket holders deserve to voice their frustration. Yeah, I don't mean you should verbally abuse the team or anything like that. But we'll just be talking to each other and say, oh, how could he miss that ball? It's not even sunny today, or something like that. And then she'll start mouthing off, And I'm like, woo, drinking that daiquiri. Anyway, Ron Pontalba. Is it a great rum? No, that's why it's $6.99 for a liter. All right. If it was a great rum, it'd be $169 a $7.50. On the other hand, it's pretty nice. Now I was over at Total Wine and More on Tuesday, and they had that cabinet locked, and they had those real expensive rums in there. They had the Bacardi super aged, and it was like $400. They had in the other cabinet, they had the tequila cabinet. They had Jose Cuervo, super duper deluxe. It was like $270. Beautiful bottle. But I said, well, I haven't even tried regular Jose Cuervo. I'm not going to jump up to the $270 version, yet. Ron, did your kitty survive that under the porch wild animal fight? Yeah. No scratches. Maybe she wanted to fight. So I don't know what was going on, but it sounded terrible, but she's up there on the garbage can. She likes to sleep on top of the garbage can, the tall, those government supplied green garbage cans with the flip top. And they hook them onto the truck, and it got the hydraulic lift that tips it over when it's too heavy. But she's always sleeping up on top of that thing. Like I opened the back door this morning and she was looking at, I said, you didn't even eat your food. I don't know why you're crying for more food, but I actually like the gold Jose Cuervo. David Cassidy says, thumbs up. I saw a bottle of whiskey at Total Wine that was distilled in 1978. Pretty amazing. Hey, they got older ones than that. If you go to Sazerac House in New Orleans, they always have a 50-year age blended scotch. It's called The Last Drop, and it's vintage. So they had the 1969, and then they had the 1970. Now they got the 1971, and they're pretty soon going to go to 72. Well, you can get any vintage you want. You just got to talk to them. But there's only one little problem. It's $4,995.95. OBO, or best offer. So it's a $5,000 bottle, and they give you a little sample bottle in it, like a little 50 milliliter bottle included, if you want to drink that, because they know people are going to buy that to flip. In other words, people buying that stuff to sell it. They don't buy it to actually drink it. There's a big trade market in whiskey and stuff that people trade and buy and sell unopened whiskey bottles. I don't know why. I don't know what's the interest in that, but people do it. Okay. Do that with toys. Somebody was telling me, look at all these Batman toys I have that are unopened from 1983. I was looking at that like I was looking at nothing. I was like, well, why would you want to buy that? And they're unopened. So nobody played with the toy. I mean, I was like, okay, great. You said, well, you got all those comic books. That's true. But I read these. I actually have read them. It's not great literature or anything, but I've read them. Good artwork in some of them. See, these are used. If I ever become a billionaire, I'll send you a bottle of the 50-year-old. Thank you. Or sell her away. Checking in, Ron. Sorry for my tardiness. That's okay, Caleb. You're not obligated to watch these. It's like beer. Some people, including somebody I know very well, it's like their goal in beer is to buy it and never drink it. To me, it's crazy. It's like, look at these boxes and boxes of all this old beer that I've never opened from 2013 and 2014 and 2015. I said, I thought the purpose of buying beer was to drink it, but maybe I'm screwed up in the head. Maybe I don't understand things. I'm like looking at that box. I'm looking at all these boxes. He's like, I had it in the dark. It's been cool in this house and all. I'm like, yeah, but all it is going to taste like a bunch of old beer. It's not going to really be good. Oh, but it's 16% alcohol. Okay, well, it's going to taste like an 8-year-old 16% alcohol old beer. I don't get it. Do I care? I don't care. I didn't buy it. Doesn't matter to me. Could keep it 20 more years for all I care. But I don't get it, is what I'm saying. The person was telling me I got to drink down this liquor cabinet. I said, yeah, kind of agree with that. Because why do you need 200 bottles of various liquors that are just sitting there? You say, well, you got them. You got them. Yeah, I got them. Right. Exactly. I got all these liquor bottles in it, but I'm drinking them. There's a purpose to it. They're being slowly drunk down on taste challenges. See, they're not just setting up there like a museum piece, like, oh, look. But once again, I'm not criticizing anybody for doing that. I'm not taking exception to it. It does not actually bother me in reality because I did not buy it and it's not at my house. I'm not storing it. I'm just saying in my mind, I don't understand it. It seems cuckoo to me, nutty, weird. It's like this hoarding mentality that people want to save everything. For what? I got all these comic book backing boards because I decided I'm taking up too much space with these backing boards. So what? Make sure a 5-year-old comic book doesn't get hurt. The thing ain't going to be worth anything anyway. All these backing boards. Look how much space that was taken up. Why do you think I got so many comic book boxes? So and this is just the start of it. It's a lot worse than this. So I said, you know what? Any comic book that was produced on or after January 1st, 2001, I'm not going to back it up with a board. It's just going to be in a bag. Of course, a plastic bag. And I've been taking these back to the comic shops and giving it to them. I say, you want these? I'm not asking for anything in return. I'm just saying, you want these backing boards? They're looking at me strange, like I got some kind of hidden agenda. And I tell them I don't want them. They take up to, they're looking at me strange. Okay. I'm thinking all you got to do is turn around and sell them for a nickel a piece or 10 cents a piece. You're going to make money. But see what I mean about the hoarding? I'm not keeping all these backing boards. I'm getting rid of them. I watched the review you did years ago on Fuller's London Porter. Can you get it in USA? Only get it in Waitrose in the United Kingdom. You said it was one of the best beers ever. Mark Lockwood. No, we used to get Fuller's everywhere, but everybody stopped selling it. I mean, there might be 2 or 3 places in New Orleans that sell it, okay? New Orleans and Houston. But the problem is that no one buys it because they want to chase after every craft beer that's on the market from around here in Texas and Mississippi and Alabama. Are they better than Fuller's, those craft beers? Usually they're not quite as good. You know, these craft beers is like a flying circus. They got this, that. This is the strawberry one. This is the chocolate. This is the mint. This is the oregano. This is the gummy bear flavor and all that. I mean, they're nice and they're sparkly, funny. The tricks are for kids type of beers, and you're paying $4.99, $5.99 a can, you know, with a shabby looking funny animal label or something about the devil, adhesive, you know, the same old badness. And I mean bad in more than one way. Bad thematics and bad pricing and generally bad beer. So no, they don't want to drink the classics, the real ales like Fuller's London Porter or Fuller's ESB or and then they just pass up the Pilsner Urquell like it's nothing to them, which almost no craft beers that you buy can come close to Pilsner Urquell. You know, it destroys them in an embarrassingly bad way. You say, oh, here we go, a rant because you're anti-craft beer. I'm not anti-craft beer at all. I buy it all the time. I'm saying it's not as good as most of the well-made things like he's talking about Fuller's London Porter. Now, this Major Lazer is fine, but it's got a very strong creme brulee type of thing. Maybe you would like it, maybe you wouldn't. Is it better than the Ron Pontalba? Better? Is it better? Is it better? I mean, it's a little bit better. It's aged longer. You know that 3 to 4 years, 3 and 4 years. It's aged actually 3. It's not 3 to 4 years. It's really aged 3 and 4 years. The Pontalba is nice though. I mean, a lot of people would just judge it because of the price point. They would just automatically say, oh, that's on the bottom shelf. I would never drink that. And then they would go on some long rant about how they were talking to the distillery master at Shine Boggle Distillery and all of this. I was like, okay, good. I'm glad you talked to him, but they probably actually just sent him an email. And he responded with a form letter saying, thank you for your interest in our distillery or something like that. But anyway, it's fine. I mean, is it as good as you'd want it to be? The Ron Pontalba? No, because if you wanted it to really be good, it would be like a $200 rum. It's not as good as you want it to be, but it's not nearly as bad as you would expect it to be for the price. So is it a great looking label? No, not really. I always say it looks like a 1989 Ocean Pacific t-shirt. Remember they used to sell those at the mall? They probably haven't updated the label since 1989. Why would they? But it's fine. Is it good for a simple mixable gold rum? Yeah, it's even better than average in that respect. There you go. Bacardi Major Lazer. It's almost not worth talking about because you can't find it. It's out of production, but it's fine. It's a $15 bottle and it tastes like a $15 bottle. So is there really a winner here? It would be a very difficult balancing act to pick a winner. You could say, well, I can make a strong argument for the Pontalba based on various factors, and I can make a strong argument for the Major Lazer based on a number of factors. So I would just say it's an even exercise here, but the main point is you can easily tell them apart, easily tell one from the other. So We're not going to say a winner because it's not really correct to say that. Now let's look at the comments and we out of here. I did that with soda pop, but I realized that it's kind of pointless to keep it and have it leak or just sit there. Yeah, sit there. Yeah, I'm Panther set. Yeah, I'm not going to say I hit every limb on the way down, but there are more limbs on the other side of the tree. Okay. Do you have any particular bottles in your collection that stir emotions in you? Yeah, a lot of them. Because when I look at a bottle, I'll think about the context. Like the one right there above my thumb. The McSorley's Ale House. I bought the dark and the light. And that was pretty exciting because like in 2010, 11, McSorley's Ale House, you see, oh, wow. It was made by Pabst, or at least under their umbrella, for McSorley. Because McSorley's only sells ale at their ale house in Manhattan. I went in there once. I didn't buy anything. I just was looking around. But they sell drafts of light and dark ale. Well, they don't have a factory, a brewery, so they get a contract. Pabst was doing it, and then I think Southampton was doing it, and now I think probably FX Matt makes it for them, and they just ship it down there in kegs and they sell it. You know, people go in there and they drink, you know, exorbitantly priced dark and pale ale in New York City. But I like it because I remember when I bought it, I thought, wow, that's a classic. You know, I think it says in a bottle, Pabst Brewing Company contracted for McSorley's Ale House. Well, you know, that's an example right there. No, all the other bottles have those kind of things too. Would you show us the comics in a video or show a little bit at each taste challenge? I could do that, I guess. I have done it in the past. I have done it. Like we're going to 2022, and it'll be the 50th anniversary of Commandy, the famous Commandy series introduced by Jack Kirby and DC Comics. Yes, Trix beer would be nice. Local craft beers are a dime a dozen. I like them sometimes, but it's harder to find the products, and I'd rather just buy a widely available beer I can get everywhere. Well, they're not exactly a dime a dozen. They're more like $30 a dozen, $40 a dozen, $50 a dozen, $60 a dozen. And sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're good. 10 years ago, they were almost always good. Like you bought any craft beer, it was always really good. Now you buy them and they're sometimes good and usually not so good. What is the rarest bottle you have? The rarest bottle I have. I guess that's impossible to say. Probably Jack's beer. Jack's beer. Or this 12-ounce bottle of Schlitz malt liquor is pretty rare. How often do you see Schlitz malt liquor sold in 12-ounce bottles? I'll tell you how many times I've seen it. Once. And that was when I bought this in Shreveport, Louisiana. Bought the 6-pack. I said, do they still make those in 12-ounce bottles? Yeah. Can you find them? Basically, no. But they exist. Any old? No, I never had that. So those are rare. I got so many rare things I can't show y'all. I got to get off this. All right, thanks everybody for watching. Y'all take care now. Starting tequila next.